The Saudis in particular, but other Gulf sheikdoms also, have poured billions, literally billions of dollars into establishing mosques across the world since the oil money started flowing into them in the 1970s, including here in the United States. They put the money up to build the mosque, they staff it with their people, they bring in the literature, the books that's sold in the library or kept in the library, they fund the schools, they fund the textbooks that are used in the schools that are always adjunct to the Islamic centers, etc. Here is one of those mosques. It's called the Dar al-Hijra Islamic Center, located in Falls Church, Virginia, a suburb not far from Washington, D.C., where Anwar al-Awlaki, U.S. citizen, Yemeni heritage, was a preacher in the time just up to and just after the attacks of 9/11. Among his flock, if you will, that actually had come with him from his earlier assignment in a mosque out in San Diego, California, were two members of the hijacking teams from 9/11. They were followers of his and attended that mosque while they were getting ready for 9/11. Also followers that we know of from online correspondence that we now know about, Major Nidal Hassan, the shooter in Fort Hood, and also Abdul Muttalib, the otherwise known as the underwear bomber, the Nigerian young man who tried to set his underwear on fire, explode his underwear on board the Northwest Airlines flight over Detroit 2 Christmases ago. Anwar al-Awlaki follower. However, the Dar al-Hijra Mosque, for all its reputation as a hotbed of Islamic jihadi ideology, nevertheless seemed to be an appropriate place for the Department of State to send its most recent Foreign Service class last year, where the purpose of the visit ostensibly was to learn Muslim immigrants' views about America before and after arriving in the United States. That was found on the Department of State's own website. They didn't even realize how people might look at that, but after it was publicized, they buried it. All right, another method of insinuating Sharia and the way that the Muslim Brotherhood does this in the United States, infiltrate academia. And this means getting your preachers, your teachers, your professors into American universities, or at the very least, getting your money into those institutions. And this has happened on a massive scale, again, since the oil money started flowing into the Middle East in the 70s. There are entire departments, and in particular, divisions, departments of Middle East studies programs in universities across the United States, which have literally been bought and paid for by Saudi money. Not just Saudis. We've got a Turkish network of schools under the Fethullah Gulen so-called charter school system, more than 85 of them established as madrasas across the United States today. American citizen kids go there. The parents of Muslim parents send their kids to these schools. These are the kind of schools, the Fethullah Gulen is a man. He's a founder of these schools. By the way, he lives in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. He set up these schools, first of all, as a network in Turkey. And you can see the results now in Turkey. Well, he's also set up a network here in the United States under the charter school network. Well, we were talking about the money, and you can actually find these names of universities and some of the amounts given to them in the book by Brigitte Gabriel. That's my source for this particular slide. Her book called Because They Hate. And you can find the donations, and as you see, in the millions and tens of millions of dollars to various universities across the United States, and obviously targeted specifically at Middle East studies programs within those universities. In addition to university level, you've got Saudi-funded textbooks coming into other levels of education, from high school on down even to middle school and elementary level schools. And what happens, of course, is that for every discipline in school, let it be chemistry, biology, what have you, the publishing companies like Macmillan for the textbooks, they have to get boards of advisors to review the books and make sure, yeah, that's really the way photosynthesis goes, that's correct, publish the book for biology. Well, in the case of history, and in particular Middle East history, they've got boards of advisors too. Unfortunately, the ones who sit on those boards of advisors are Muslim brothers. And those books get vetted and passed through into the classrooms of the United States for our kids to, and grandkids to use in their school. And some of the things that happen in those textbooks are sort of whitewashing the violent history of the Islamic conquests, and also, by comparison, vilifying Christianity, more so than Judaism, the Crusades and so forth. And then just being really vague about what Sharia really means, what the actual obligations of Sharia are. Here's a textbook that's used at the 7th grade level in a number of schools across the United States, What Islam is All About. I actually have a copy of this book. You can find it online. And here are a couple of the quotes from the book about jihad. If a real jihad was declared, I mean, they don't even have the grammar right. If a real jihad were declared, then we as Muslims must obey and follow the rules of Islam in our conduct. Another quote about the Prophet, what should we do on the orders of a leader, an emir, and a leader of a country, of a group that does not follow Sharia? We follow Sharia, we stick to your orders, Muhammad, or do we follow the emir? The Prophet says there is no obedience to one who does not obey Allah. What has just happened in Egypt? Mubarak did not enforce Sharia law in Egypt. He's gone. And they're coming after the others, as in Jordan, as in Bahrain.